Alright, time to continue the Mastery Quiz 13 review. So in this next section, we're getting the slope-intercept form of the equation of the line described. So the line is supposed to go through a point, and it needs to go parallel or perpendicular to some line already given. And if you remember, the formula that we use is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So the m part is the slope. The y1 part comes from the y-coordinate. And the x1 part comes from the x-coordinate. And so keep that in mind as I'm writing these out. You gotta take the coordinates, split them up, put them in your formula. And then you gotta take the slope you're looking for and put it right in front. And then you'll simplify from there. So I'm gonna take this exact same thing. So y minus y1 is the 5, so I'm gonna put 5 down. If I want a line to be parallel, I need to have the same slope as the original line, and the original slope is that number right in front of the x, which is 10/3. Not 13, 10/3. That needs to go in front of x minus, I need it minus the x value, which is 3 from the point up here. And now it's just a process of simplifying it down. You distribute this 10/3 through. I'm going to have y minus 5, so the parentheses doesn't do anything on the left side. We're going to get 10/3 x. 10/3 times 3, well, 10 times 3 is 30, divided by 3 gives you 10. So we got minus 10. And now I need to get the 5 on the other side, so I'm going to add 5 to both sides. You're going to get y equals 10/3 x minus 5. So hopefully you follow along pretty closely with that. The rest of these are going to go pretty much faster, just so it doesn't take 2 minutes to do one problem. So again, I'm going to have the form. I'm going to do y minus the y value, which is 5. And then the slope I want to use is if I want it to be parallel, I need to use the same one, which is right there, 5. And then you do x minus the x-coordinate of the point, which is 1. And realize you're not using the plus 2 part, you're not using the subtract 3 part. Those are just things you don't need. And now it's time to distribute and simplify things down. Y minus 5 equals 5x minus 5. And now I'm going to add 5 to both sides. We'll get y equals 5x. Moving on to the next one. We need to do y minus 5 on the left side. On the right side, we're going to get parallel, so we're going to use the same slope, which is negative 2 right there. And that's going to go in front of x minus negative 2. Remember to keep the negative with it. We're now going to distribute this down. We need to simplify it down. Left side is still just y minus 5. Right side, we're going to get negative 2x. Negative times a negative times a negative. 3 negatives make 1 negative. And 2 times 2 is 4. So now at this point, I'm going to add 5 to both sides. We'll get y equals negative 2x plus 1. Because negative 4 plus 5 is 1, positive. And now I'm going to get the next one, y minus negative 3 on the left. The right side, I want it to be parallel again, so I'm going to use the 1/4 as my slope. And then x minus 4, 4 right there. You can now simplify things down. Distribute the 1/4. We're going to get 1/4 x minus 1. 1/4 of 4 is 1, by the way. And then we have on the left side y plus 3, because subtract a negative, same thing as add positive. And I'm going to get rid of that 3 by subtracting 3 from both sides. We'll get y equals 1/4 x minus 4. And voila, there is that one. Moving on to the next one. Let's see, got to make sure I'm keeping with this. Okay, this one's parallel, this one's perpendicular. We'll get to the perpendicular part in a second. So I'm going to do y minus 3, which is the y value here. And I want this one to be parallel, so I'm going to use the same slope, which is 6 right there. And then x minus the x-coordinate from that. And now I'm going to distribute this through. We're going to get 6x minus 18. On the left side, we just have y minus 3. And you get rid of the minus 3, and you get y by itself. So I can get y equals 6x minus 15. And ta-da! I have that equation. So when we get to 17, I need to get a line that goes through the point, but it's perpendicular to this line here. And if you want a line that's perpendicular, you're going to take your original slope, which is right there, 1, and you need to get the opposite reciprocal, 1 over 1. When you flip it upside down, it gives you 1 over 1. And you change the sign, it's going to be negative. And so I'm going to use that same formula that I've been using, y minus the y value, negative 3. But this time I'm not going to use this slope of 1, I'm going to use negative 1 in front, and then subtract the x value of 4. Now it's time to distribute. I'm going to get negative x plus 4. Left side, I'm going to get y plus 3. And then do some subtraction to get y by itself. We'll get y equals negative x plus 1. And now we got that. On 16, we need to get parallel still. 18, get perpendicular. If you have a line like y equals a number, that original slope is 0. And if I'm going to use my formula here, I'll even use it for you. So y minus the y value, negative 5. And I'm going to have a slope of 0 times x minus 4. Well, that's just 0. And so the right side 0, left side I got y plus 5 equals 0. I need to subtract the 5, and you got y equals negative 5. Ta-da! Line that's parallel. On 18, I need to get a line that's perpendicular to this one. We have x equals a number. Remember, it's a vertical line, which has no slope, but the line that would be perpendicular to it would have a 0 slope. And so, using my formula here, y minus the y value, right there, 1, equals 0 times x minus the x value, right there. That's just 0. So now we got y minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to add 1 to both sides to get y equals 1 to be the line I need. And it's going to bring us to 19. I need this one to be perpendicular, so I'm going to take this slope, and I need to get the opposite reciprocal of that, so turn it upside down. Change the sign, now it's positive, and I use 7/3. So I'm going to do y minus negative 3, that's the y value from the point there, 7/3 in front of x minus negative 3, the x value there. And now it's time to distribute 3 things. We get y plus 3 on the left, because subtracting negative means add positive. And we got 7/3 x. Subtracting a negative, same thing as adding positive. So it's 7/3 times 3. 7 times 3 is 21. Divide by 3 gives you 7. So over here we got plus 7. Now it's time to get y by itself. Subtract 3 from both sides. You have y equals 7/3 x plus 4. And there we go. And then 20, again I need to get perpendicular, so I'm going to take the slope and get the opposite reciprocal. So turn it upside down, change the sign, no longer negative, now it's positive. We're going to get 2/5 for my slope. I'm going to do y minus the y value there, 3. Fairly popular this assignment. The slope we're going to use is that 2/5, and then we need to do x minus the x value of 5. And now it's time to simplify things down. Y minus 3 on the left, and distribute this 2/5 through. We get 2/5 x minus 2. 2 times 5 is 10, divided by 5 gives you 2, so that's why I subtract 2 here. And now we need to get y by itself, so we'll add 3 to both sides. And now we got y equals 2/5 x plus 1. And that one's good to go. And now we'll get down to these next few here. There's quite a few of these ones. Alright. So we need to go through this point, and it needs to be perpendicular. So I'm going to take this slope, turn it upside down, change the sign. It's going to be 4/3. Now I'm going to do y minus the y value, negative 4. Right side, we're going to have 4/3. And then we'll have x minus negative 3. And now it's time to simplify things down, so we'll distribute. We'll get 4/3 x. 4 times 3 is 12. Divide by 3 is 4. So we got plus 4 because of double negatives. And on the left side we got y plus 4. Now it's time to get the y part by itself, so we're going to subtract 4 from both sides. And we'll get y equals 4/3 x. And that's it. because 4 minus 4 is 0, and we're just going to leave that there. We go on to the next point. Let's see, when you do perpendicular again, so I'm going to take this point and get the opposite reciprocal turned upside down. And this time, it's going to end up being negative, because it was positive, now it's going to be negative. Y minus the 4 from our point there. And on the right side, we're going to have negative 4/3 times x minus negative 3. And left side simplifies, we got y minus 4. Right side, we need to do some distribution, negative 4/3 x. The double negative again makes it positive, but then we have to times by a negative. So we're going to have negative, and it's the same thing as last time, 4. 4 times 3 is 12, divided by 3 gives you back to 4. Anyway, and now we need to get y by itself, so we're going to add 4 to both sides. And this time you have y equals negative 4/3 x, and that's it. So the same, but negative. When you get to 22, again, we need to be perpendicular. This line is a horizontal line. So if you want a line that's perpendicular, you need to have no slope. And if you have no slope, it's an x equals something line. And we need it to go through this point, which has an x value of negative 3. So it's going to be x equals negative 3 for your line, because that'll go through it. And then 24, this one, again, perpendicular, y equals a number. So, again, we have the same sort of thing going on here. It's going to be x equals some number. Well, it needs to go through that number there. So it's going to be x equals 0 right there. Moving on to 25. Again, when you get perpendicular, these ones are both, okay. This one, you turn it upside down, change the sign on it, you're going to get 5/2, positive. And now we need to do y minus, not equals, the y value of negative 5. And on the right side, we're going to do 5/2, the slope we already got. And then x minus the x value from our point, negative 2. That makes it positive or plus. Time to distribute things. Left side, we got y plus 5. 5/2 times x is 5/2 x. 5/2 times 2 is just 10/2 or just 5. So we got plus 5 going on here. And you subtract 5 from both sides. And now we got y equals 5/2 x. And that's it. Alright, number 27, I'm going to take this, turn it upside down, change the sign, we're going to have 5/4, but negative. And now we need to use the 1 and 1 in our formula and the negative 5/4. We got y minus 1, 5/4 negative times x minus 1. You just need to distribute things. We got y minus 1 equals negative 5/4 x, and then plus 5/4. And now we need to get rid of the little extra bit there, the minus 1, by adding 1 to both sides. We'll get negative 5/4 x. And in case you've forgotten, 1 is the same thing as 4/4, so it's 4/4 plus 5/4, which is going to be 9/4. And that's going to be the last part of that one. And then we just got these last two on this section. When you get perpendicular again, so I'm going to take this, turn it upside down, change the sign. So it's going to be negative 3/2. I need to go through this point, so the two numbers I'm going to use in my formula, y minus the negative 5 part, the y part. And then negative 3/2 is going to go in front, and then you got x minus 4. And distribute that negative 3/2 through. Left side, you got y plus 5. Right side, you got negative 3/2 x. And then plus, because negative times negative is positive, 3 times 4 is 12. Divided by 2 gives you 6. So it's going to be plus 6. And now, time to get y by itself. We'll subtract 5 from both sides. We get y equals negative 3/2 x plus 1. And then finally, on 28, when you get perpendicular again, so we're going to take this, turn it upside down, change the sign. So that's just 7. And we can start using our formula, use these as our x1 and y1, y minus negative 5, which has been really popular this assignment. And then we got 7 in front of x minus negative 1. When you subtract a negative, same thing as adding positive, so we got 5 plus 5. Distributing your 7 through, you can get 7x. And then plus 7, because negative times negative is positive. And now we need to get y by itself, so we'll subtract 5 from both sides. We'll get y equals 7x plus 2. And that's it for this section.